Welcome back to the Rising of the Shield Hero Anime Review, episode number 42. We are here reviewing the final episode of Season 4, Return of the Emperor. Yep, and this episode pretty much in the way covered the remainder of Book 14. Yep, so we pick up pretty much exactly where we left off last episode. Oh, by the way, the whole wrapping 2 thing, this actually is the previous Emperor, it's revealed, and it's possessing Shaldina's younger sister. So Raphtalia steps forward to take her on, which of course she's allowed to get handicapped to get support, while basically the whole episode is them fighting each other with all these sword tickets. Like, it goes to the ground, goes over the palace roof, goes on the back of the ground again, with all these techniques like yin and yang, soccer formation, all this. One actually surprises her. And this takes up a good chunk of the episode. You're like, my gosh, takes up a lot. This fight takes up a good 10 minutes of the episode. It is a lot of time spent on this one fight alone. And then eventually the previous Emperor is in fact defeated. She leaves the body of Shaldina's younger sister. Of course, she's taken away by Philo. And then all it's left to do is just to confront the Emperor. Which they reveal exactly what happened off screen. Well, basically this conversation happened off screen, but they do show a flashback where they do confront him. By the way, before the fight happened, for the first few minutes, the previous Emperor is being attacked by the advisor Machina, which of course Raphtalia proceeds to destroy her spirit, ending her threat once and for all. I mean, the woman's dead, and yet basically her spirit remained somehow. Also, Sedalia had this crest on her placed on her chest. You're probably thinking, did this come completely out of nowhere? Was this the anime pulling this out of the rear ends? Oh no, this happened in the book. So, this is actually not this is not Citrus's fault for this. Yeah, this whole thing of the crest and this coming completely out of nowhere, this actually is Virgil Reyes' fault. He put it there, so blame him. Do not put the finger on the studio for this whole thing. You can blame him basically for the enemy montage, which doesn't really hurt. You can see some important bits, but they kind of had to rush it because basically they're running out of time. If I were basically in charge of this episode, I would give this runtime basically 5 more minutes, because I am not the biggest fan of basically doing montages like this. So, after she's defeated, of course, Raphtalia became a new emperor. So, the emperor basically is told that his laws were stupid that he introduced. He basically faced repercussions of them. So, publicly, Philo killed him. Privately, he's perfectly fine. And him and the previous War Miko, basically, she will serve as Raphtalia's Mikos, while, of course, he will go live in Nafumi's village. Probably in hiding, because, of course, the people of Kyutsen Law want him dead. So, Raphtalia proceeds to go back to the village. Despite the fact she's an emperor, she doesn't need to... Apparently, she doesn't need to stay, for some reason. She has to come back occasionally to do some emperor duties and go back home. And they ride back home, no problem. And, well, I mentioned, oh yeah, we have to go back to our country, which, of course... I should point to something interesting about the previous arc for this one. The Shavina arc, I think it's called. The one that takes up basically about the first half of the season. So, the thing with this particular arc. From what I've read, this arc was not, this is actually not, because a lot of light novels are originally made as web novels. And this is one of those cases when they do adapt stuff, when a writer of those web novels does remake them into this particular one. That story arc was actually light novel exclusive. Because that arc, that succession arc, that never happened. in the original light novels. Now, also from what the original web novels, also what I've read about these things, sometimes these web novels have the most bizarre type of storytelling I've ever seen. Because I read some text like, oh my gosh, no wonder why he changed it. Like, for instance, an example of this is basically in one of the original web novels for Overlord, where the girl who actually died in season 3 of the show, the one who had the family, she survived. And also, get this, she wanted Shaltair to take her virginity. I am not kidding about that. That is what the writing is stating. The Overlord web novel, the one I read, this text I read, seemed very adult. Yes, and almost implying the fact that basically we could have got full-blown hentai in the original book, and it's a good thing basically that was cut out, because basically that would have been too weird for more of a light novel audience. I'm sure if anybody read that, like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's kind of the dealio with that. The fact that a lot of the time, sometimes basically, that the original web novel is much more darker than the actual light novel is. That's kind of how stuff like this works, what I read. But, yeah, and of course we see various characters, we see, of course, the series again. The Blacksmith Master comes back home to the village for some reason. Yeah, it's not very... Oh, by the way, there's a brief scene with Mafumi, the spear hero, where supposedly he comes across Hor, Melty's sister. Except that when he sees her, it's a pig woman, then he stabs her and then walks away with his Tapophilos. And I'm like, what was the point of this scene? And if you're curious, what is this in the actual light novel? Not that I read, this was a complete original scene. Yeah, this scene is completely pointless. It's like, what was the point of having this? Like, is it implying that Melty's sister is dead? I mean, you would think, basically, based on the scene here, is this basically confirming that she might be dead? Not really. I highly doubt it. I'm about to check her right here. I think she might be actually dead. No, apparently she's not. Yeah. I mean, she was stabbed, but she's not... I mean, she's still around. I think they probably put that scene there just to say, oh, we killed her off, despite the fact in the light not information that, well, she is still there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I just go refer to her as Hor because basically that was what we called her. So, that's pretty much season 4 in a nutshell. And of course, they had the trailer I've seen, basically the preview season 5. Where basically the preview is basically set in some... By the way, they do tease basically fighting the Phoenix. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, I'm guessing that they're probably going to go through the previous some desert stuff. Yeah, they're probably going to go through that probably in the next season. Oh, okay. Yeah, I see this image here of this guy sitting in this chair. That's probably also going to be... Yeah, there's a picture I see here of the War of the Heroes arc, which basically is Volume 16. Now, my guess is they're going to cover this arc too, given the fact we did... basically because this character, the one who sits in this chair... Yeah, we see a silhouette, we see him basically in shadow and see his face. But, I'm guessing that we're probably going to see him next season as well. This mysterious individual. So, I'm guessing that the very next season will cover volumes 15 and 16. 15 is 15 volumes, while 16 is 12 chapters. Yes, 12. So, now the thing is, basically, do I think they might cover 2 chapters an episode? Well, in the case of books, I would suggest for season 5, because you might have to give this one a bit more breathing room than just... I mean, if you think about it, book 13 pretty much took up basically the first 7, I think it was the first 7 episodes of the season. Yeah, it took up basically episodes 56 to 62. Yeah, it pretty much started with the halfway point of the season. So the Chevalt, so Chevalt. That was basically technically the first 5 episodes were focused on this one book alone. You're like, really? Yeah. 5 episodes were focused on covering that arc. Heavenly Emperor took up 7 episodes. Yes, you heard me correctly. 7 episodes. Now, do I think that they gave it plenty of breathing room? I think 7 was probably a good number. Yes. But, in the case it was adapted, well, they pretty much adapted chapter 13 and 14, obviously, and probably a little bit of the epilogue. But, Nick, can you say that the season adapted the entirety of book 14? Yes. Yes, indeed. So, what do I hope for season 5? Well, how long do I think? How long do I want to see it be? Do I think 12 episodes is enough? No. Given probably you're adapting 2 straight story arcs that cover one book. Here's my personal suggestion. Make it 16 episodes. Yes. If you make it 16, it will give plenty of breathing. You can have the first half cover book 15 and the second half cover book 16. Seems pretty simple, right? Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that. Also, this show might be the first ever isekai to actually have 5 seasons. Some might think Overlord might do it soon, but it's something though. Oh, by the way, this episode not featuring the dragon. Yeah, the first episode not to feature that dragon, which is interesting. First time, that dragon was going to feature a Gelon. He features the whole arc, and he's not featured in the final episode. You're like, why? Because he wasn't in the actual stories. Though, while I was rereading the rest of the book, he's actually absent from the rest of the book. He's not dead. Right. No, not really. He's not dead. Simply put, he is just not there. That's the simple gist of it. He is simply just not there. But I also kind of feel this though anytime they inserted the Spear Hero, I'm guessing that that was probably just inserting stuff maybe that was skipped originally in previous books. Because the thing is, with Season 2, he was featured a good amount, but then he just wandered up his own thing, and then we have these little Philo creatures, which, by the way, they debuted in book 11 of the series. Yes. So, my guess is the 2 scenes featuring him throughout this half of the season, it just adapted from book 11. Yeah. But, there's not really much else left to say about this episode per se. Season itself I thought was really good. Yep, I thought it was really good. And that wraps up Season 4. Now, believe it or not, this is only like the second Isekai Season 4 I've ever seen. Yes, I do know that Konosuba and ReZero have also been renewed for Season 4. Oh, and what do those 3 seasons, what does this season and those 2 series have in common? Brianna Knickerbocker. How? Because Brianna Knickerbocker voices Philo in this show. In Konosuba, she voices Whis. And in the case of ReZero, she's the voice of Rem. Though Rem will not have a speaking part, basically what they're going to adapt because, well, she might have a speaking part at the end of the season, but she's probably going to be there for like 1 episode. But she's going to feature in Season 4, given what I know what's going to be adapted next. A light now focus on Whis' love life. Yeah, she gets a boyfriend who manipulates her. Yep, that's the basis of the first half of Season 4 whenever it comes out. That one, I've not heard confirmation when it's coming out. The only one of the 2 we do have confirmation when it's coming out is actually ReZero. That comes out, I think it was some point next year it's coming out. I heard something maybe April, I think it is. Yes. Yeah, but only the second ever Isekai I've personally seen that have 4 seasons now. I did read one or Isekai did have basically the same amount of this one, that being the Fertility of Zero, I think it is, where that also had 4 seasons as well, but I don't think adapted all the light novels like this one is doing. So, could you say that this is the first true, second true 4 seasons show where they adapt the light novels? Yes. That's Isekai, that is. Oh yeah, definitely. It's not some reincarnation stuff. I mean, some reincarnation series they're lucky if they get 2 seasons. Or 3 in the case of That Time of Slime. Which, by the way, that's also renewed for Season 4 as well. But, do I think we're getting other series like this? Given how Isekai has become much popular in the last few years, I could see it. Depends. But, I look at my calendar, basically, what I'm reviewing this month. I am reviewing probably, aside reviewing Case Closed and One Piece, I'm reviewing about 12 different anime. No joke. That's what it's going to be this month. This one anime premiere today, I'm actually watching it tomorrow. But next up is going to be New Saga. Yep. So, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.